I finally made it to Troughton. How very exciting. I finally made it to the second Doctor with the 4th season of classic Doctor Who. Now unfortunately a lot of this season is missing. I did watch the recons and I could follow them pretty well, but as I said before, I'm just not as good as watching recons as I would be with the actual episodes. However, pretty good batch of episodes, so my thoughts may be a little bit vague when it comes to mostly recons, but hopefully we can get some good discussions going about some of these episodes. So we start off with a missing serial with the Smugglers. Ben and Polly and the Doctor go to 17th century Cornwall, which I think would have been really interesting to see actually properly, but it was interesting enough, but as I said, I couldn't really follow it too well. But the thing that I love most about this is the fact that we're in Cornwall. I think that's a really interesting setting for Doctor Who, and there's a lot of prospects, certainly in contemporary Who, for creatures and things, and I kind of feel like they should go there for the new, for Joey Whittaker, which would be very exciting. This is actually a novelisation. There's a novelisation of this one, so I'm actually going to try and find a copy so I can read it and get a better understanding or a better following of the episode. But from what I saw, I liked it. Ben's accent contrasting with those from Cornwall for the Cornish was very entertaining. Thankfully things get a little bit exciting with 10th Planet for the second serial. We have a little bit more of this one, and we have the Cybermen of Mondas. I love the Cybermen, whereas I kind of like seeing Daleks in the classic episodes. I just love seeing the Cybermen because I always feel like you can see them progressing with each serial as it goes by. She says only 4 seasons in. But I really like this episode. Obviously there's a lot of emotion in this one because it connects to the 12th Doctor and David Bradley playing the first Doctor, and obviously seeing how they managed to get bits of that episode and bring it into the 21st century and make it obviously in colour, and it worked really well. And the regeneration doesn't fully exist, which is so upsetting. We don't properly have the full final bit of the Doctor's generation and the first ever regeneration, but what existed I thought was really effective, and I think it was actually really clever, and I didn't really expect much from it given the age of it, but it was a really good transition from Hartnell to Troughton. I'm very impressed. Power of the Daleks, what can I say? I do love a Dalek, even though I prefer the Cybermen, and I thought this episode was reasonably well. I think it was quite powerful to have the Daleks there for the new Doctor's first full serial. And I feel like Ben and Polly reacted reasonably well. I tried to compare it to, say, Rosa's reaction, which was my first experience of a regeneration, and I feel like it was pretty balanced. You know, I don't want to say they didn't overreact, because I feel like there wouldn't be a kind of overreaction, but they didn't underplay it either. I thought it was reasonable. The fact that there were 2 of them side by side witnessing this made it a bit easier for them to deal with. Freedom! Okay, so wrong thing, but I'm Scottish. I'm from Aberdeen, which is just down from Inverness. This takes place after the Battle of Culloden, and we have a lot of Scottish accents, we have a lot of chucksterness going on there. I absolutely love it. Being an Aberdonian, it made me very, very happy. And we also get Jamie as well. Jamie is a new companion in future episodes, and I really like him. This also made me think of the more recent Doctor Who episode that's set in a similar location and how they kind of compare. And I feel like, obviously it's hard to judge because it's a recon, but I feel like it was actually done very, very well. Underwater Menace was alright. I mean, I don't really have anything to say about this episode. It was one of the episodes that just kind of, yeah, you know, it existed. It's kind of like a classic version of Fear Her or Loving Monsters. I watched it, I enjoyed it as I watched it. Didn't really leave an impression. It's set on a volcanic island. There's an element of sacrifice there. I really don't have too much to say about it. Maybe if I saw the full thing, if the full thing existed properly, maybe it would be more interesting, but it was fine. On the flip side, I really enjoyed Moonbase. I don't know what it is, but I really like Doctor Who episodes set on the moon. This was set in 2070, which at the time was about 100 years in the future. This isn't that far away. I'm probably going to be around in 2070. I'll be 78, which is probably not worth thinking about, but yeah, I really like this. We have the Cybermen on the moon. That is awesome. That is all kinds of awesome. I just wish somebody had like made them float around. It would have been absolutely amazing, but it was really good. And not only did I like the setting, I liked the creatures present, but what struck me is impressive with Moonbase is the fact that we have Jamie, Polly and Ben. Normally I can't get on board with several companions, so Jodie Whittaker's first series is going to be a challenge, but I'm looking forward to it. But I actually did. I thought they worked really well together, the three of them, and Troughton is just... he's obviously very different to Hartnell as a Doctor, but I'm really getting on board with him as the second Doctor. Macra Terror is missing, so we don't really get to see any proper pincers, which is annoying. But I did like Jamie in this one, really liking Jamie. Probably biased because I'm Scottish, but you know, it's really great character. Can't say too much about this episode, but the thing that upset me the most is that it doesn't exist, and I really wanted to see what the Macra... I've seen pictures of course, but I really wanted to see the Macra in action to compare them to the Macra of Gridlock, because Gridlock is one of my favourites from series 3, and I don't think I realised until a couple of years ago that the Macra were actually classic characters, creatures, and I haven't seen Gridlock in a very long time. So having watched this, I might go and watch Gridlock and get something different out of it and kind of look back at the Macra history and see how the Macra have changed over time. So from a Doctor Who historical aspect, it's a really good episode, but because it's missing, it was enjoyable to watch and listen to, but I'd like to see it properly. Well now, the Faceless Ones was very interesting, and the TARDIS lands in Gatwick Airport on the runway, and the alien we're dealing with is a faceless creature. Now, it's not the last time that we come across a faceless creature, and I always think it's a very interesting concept, and I find that it's hard to engage with them in a good way because you can't see their emotions. And that's always terrifying because you don't know if they're happy or sad or grumpy or angry or sleepy or whatever. But in this one it's very good. The thing that, you know, I laughed so hard, there's a point where, this isn't a spoiler, but there's a point where the creature's lying down and they're running currents through its head or something, and it goes, I swear it's the tune to I Whip My Hair Back and Forth. Go and watch it if you can and listen to it and tell me I'm wrong. I am confident it's the tune to I Whip My Hair Back and Forth. But yeah, it was a good episode, a great premise, great location, really liked the Faceless Creatures. Then we come to the season finale, Evil of the Daleks. Having another Dalek episode in one season is a bit much, but I guess by that point they hadn't really been exhausted. We obviously get them a lot more now, so we're a bit more used to them, and it's a bit like, alright, get on with it. This was a good episode. We meet the new companion, Vicky. I think the Doctor goes through companions quicker than Tom Baker goes through jelly babies, but nice enough introduction, looking forward to seeing what happens with her in the future. Apparently, according to Wikipedia, if I can trust Wikipedia, this was meant to be the last Dalek encounter, so it was going to be a big send-off because I think they were trying to sell it to the Americans or something. I'm not 100% certain. Had this been the last Dalek episode, I don't think it would have been that explosive. I think for me, the last Dalek episode, the most impactful Dalek episode, was Doomsday. So what do I think of season 4? I think more of it should exist, and I want everybody to go and hunt in their lofts, in their grandparents' lofts, dig out every VHS tape you can find. I don't understand how there can't be any copies. Why would the BBC just wipe them? Oh, different times, different times. If we had a TARDIS, it wouldn't be a problem. Thank you for watching this. Do let me know what you think of season 4. Looking forward to seeing more of Troughton in season 5, and I'll speak to you all soon.